What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 34 of the Blue River Bowhunting Podcast. I have a really unique guest on with me this week, Josh Klober. Did I get that right?
Got it.
Got it. I'm not the smartest cookie, okay? I'm just a redneck that likes to shoot
I'm
bows.
so.
But tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, I'm 41 years old. I live in Magnolia, Arkansas. That's Columbia County, southwest corner of the state. Married, I think, 22 years next week. So, got two boys. My wife, she's a teacher. My oldest one's in college playing baseball, studying to be a doctor. He takes the MCAT here end of July, so we'll see. My youngest boy, he's seventh grade, and I was in the military, reserves most of the time for 15 years. Got out, I've got a civilian job working in the aluminum industry and sales, and just kind of got a little too much going to work, traveling 4 or 5 days a week, and then going to drill on the weekend, and then unpacking that bag to go back on the road. So I got out, spent about a year in Iraq back in 2003, 2004. I was in Fallujah, disarming. Well, I wasn't disarming. We were quick reaction force for the EOD, going around and capturing weapons caches and taking out IEDs. And, so pretty good time.
I know I speak for everybody, but thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome, man. Speaking about talking about your kids a little bit, are they into hunting with you too?
My youngest one is. Yeah, I got him his first bow this year. I got him an elite basin, kind of ready to shoot bow. And every time I go looking for him, he's outside shooting these targets I got at the range over here.
That's awesome, man. At least he's into it. That's cool.
Yeah, but he doesn't like to sit still. He likes to duck hunt. But then I got him a bow, and he likes to shoot it in the backyard. But he says he wants to kill a deer. We'll see. I don't know if he'll be able to sit still that long or not.
Seems like a lot of the younger generations flocking to the waterfowl game, which I don't blame them. You don't have to sit and quiet. You're bullshitting with your buddies most of the time and all that. I mean, and being in Arkansas, are you kidding me? You guys got just some of the best duck hunting in the entire country.
Well, it's probably 2.5 hours from us, but we've still got a couple beaver ponds. We had water this year where there wasn't a lot, so we ended up with some mallards. I'd take him out there before school every morning, and I'd drop him off at the duck hole, go sit in my truck and work for 30 minutes. He'd shoot, and I'd go pick him up and take him to school. But he killed quite a few mallards. Killed his first banded wood duck this year.
Oh, I'm jealous. Yeah. I'm jealous.
Killed that when I was deer hunting. He texted me pictures. Look what I got. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, how you got him into hunting? How did you get started in the outdoors?
Well, my grandparents had some land there, right around Hot Springs, Arkansas, and had a shotgun and a 22 and a bunch of hardwoods. And I'd leave the house, go out, shoot a couple squirrels, bring them back. My grandmother would clean them for me, showed me how to clean them. Go back out and kill some more, and had a fishing pond there. She taught me how to clean a catfish, and so it kind of went from there. And then you get a little older and you got buddies and you start going around. They got places, and next thing you know, you're deer hunting a little more, and just about like any typical Arkansan down here.
That's awesome. Yeah, them squirrel, obviously there's people that still do it, but that was a big thing back then, almost like a delicacy. Like they throw it in I don't know how your grandmother did it, but my great grandma, she threw it in a pot with the carrots and potatoes and made a gravy, and you just get in there and pull you something off of it. It's good stuff.
Oh, that squirrel hunting around here it's pretty big.
Really?
I've got a squirrel dog myself. I got one I'm training right now, and I got a lab for my son to duck hunt. But yeah, I've got a 9-year-old, I think it'll be 9 this year, mountain cur male. Yeah, so he'll squirrel hunt, coon hunt, and we go after deer season when we're not hog hunting. We'll go squirrel hunting, make a round for the afternoon.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. Talk about hunting Kansas. You got me saying Kansas now. Arkansas. Talk about hunting Arkansas. The terrain that you're hunting. When I think of Arkansas, I go right to what I was just talking about: flooded timber, duck holes everywhere. Boats lined up at 3:00 in the morning going duck hunting. But you're kind of opposite. You're hunting them big whitetail down there.
Yeah, so that's exactly. That's, well, I'm not saying I'm hunting big whitetail. We've got some around. There's usually one or two, and everybody in the neighborhood's chasing them. But yeah, that duck hunting is, well, you've got Felsenthal there just east of us, a little over an hour, but you've got Stuttgart and all that. You got
Mm.
Bayou Meta, those guys. That's totally, we're southwest corner. We're only about 20 miles north of the Louisiana line. But around here, you've got some rolling hills, pine timber. If you're lucky enough to be able to get in the bottom. But it's a lot of leased land in South Arkansas. There's some private land. I've got some private land as well. But I think the hunting camp next to me and ours, we've probably got about 1,700 acres or so that we hunt. We hunt pigs, whitetail, squirrels, coons, bobcats, whatever. But and then you get your little wood duck holes and get the occasional mallards come in. Last year was pretty good for that. But yeah, a lot of bow hunting. I've done a lot of rifle hunting myself, and really just want to stick with the bow this year. Kind of made a pact to myself to maybe put down the rifle. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sitting on the deer stand and everybody's popping off muzzleloader gun season. I'm sitting there holding my bow. I don't know if I can handle it, but we'll see.
What about public land opportunities down in Arkansas for deer hunting?
You Felsenthal, you can deer hunt. I think you got to kill a doe first, and then you can kill a buck. So not a lot of people aren't going to do that. You've got Falcon Bottoms, which is about 20 miles west of here. You've got Poison Springs. Now, if you get up into central Arkansas and to northwest Arkansas, you've got the Ouachita National Forest and the Ozark National Forest. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of acres up there. And I've got a couple buddies that hunt that. But, I think it can get kind of crowded. But again, depending on how far you want to walk and get away from everybody, but there's some big deer up there.
Well, that was my next question. Is the public land in Arkansas, is it pretty crowded? A lot of people hitting it?
The stuff around here is because there's just pockets of it, but you get up in those big national forests, and I think you can spread out, But again, you gotta walk. I've about 3 or 4 years in a row, I went over to the White River Refuge, when a buddy of mine from Central Arkansas and a couple of his buddies, and he killed a pretty good one. Killed a nice 8-point there. Bow only up there. First time I ever ran into a black bear in the woods was over there. He looked at me, I looked at him. We're about 40 yards apart, and he just walked away, and I kind of walked away. That was about
it. Do you have like an open season for the bears down there?
As a matter of fact, I think we had zone 1 and 2 and maybe a 3, but they just released where I live at a zone 4, and it'll be a quota permit this year. So you'll call in the morning, I believe is how it works. And if they hadn't hit the quota, then you can go hunt, then you report in if you killed a bear. But if the quota's like 25.
Oh, wow.
So we don't have a lot of black bears in South Arkansas, but we're getting more and more. Actually, one was killed right by my wife's deer stand on the highway up here 2 years ago, got ran over by a car. And you get guys that get them on camera, pretty regular, but they're not just spread out everywhere,
Yeah, just pockets of
really
them.
an issue. Yeah.
I've always wanted to try out bear hunting. That's always something that's probably pretty high on my bucket list, really. I'd say within the next 5 years or so, I'm probably going to try it somewhere. I looked it up a little bit in like the Virginia area, not that far from me, maybe an 8 or 9 hour drive or something, but killing a black bear with my bow just sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I've never went bear hunting, I mean, just been deer and killed a lot of pigs around here. They're probably about as hard to kill as a bear, I'd imagine, but not any black bear. I mean, I've only seen one in the wild. Well, I was in Louisiana. My buddy had some over there, but in Arkansas, I've seen one in the wild.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So you talked about the private land that you're on. You said about 1,700 acres.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 1,100 or so, and then I watch a camp for another group out of Northwest Arkansas. I usually hunt it after January when they're all, they're gone, and then I own a little bit of land. But yeah, we've got about 1,700. It's timberland. Timber companies come in and cut it, so you never kind of know, what it's going to look like from year to year. As a matter of fact, they just got done logging some of that adjacent camp to ours this week. I think they cut probably 250, 300 acres out of the 600 that they had.
How is trying to get private land in Arkansas? Is it an easier thing to go door to door, or are people not as friendly when it comes to that?
No, it's not as easy as it was when we went to Kansas turkey hunting. I mean, you got all these farms and everything around here. I mean, you've got quite a few hunters in the woods, and everybody kind of protects their property when it comes to whitetails. It's posted. I mean, but you can get some permission. It's not impossible to do, but
Yeah.
not like I've seen it in other states where you just kind of show up mask and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, sometimes it works out like that. Sometimes you got people that's already hunting it or they just don't like that sort of thing. But I didn't know if
Yeah.
you had like a trick up your sleeve on how you pull it off or.
Man, if you find out, let me know.
Right. I always mess with a good buddy of mine that I hunt with a little bit, but I always say, like you, go put your outfit on, go put your uniform on. I'll walk up here with this door with me.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll let you since you're fighting for our country. They gotta let you get on there and shoot something.
Yeah. I've never tried that, but it might work.
Let's talk some gear. What kind of bow you slinging these days?
I got a Matthews V3. I got it last November. Been shooting it about every day. I set up a range next to the house. I've got the new Hamsky Epsilon rest. I just put it on. Pretty pleased with it. It come center shot was set. I don't think I've really even messed with it. It's pretty solid. I had a QAD before that. Nothing wrong with it. I think that Hamsky was a little more reliable, a little more solid. As far as releases go, I've got a few, but I like to shoot that Spot Hog Wise Guy with the BOA system on it.
Yeah.
You don't have to fumble around with a buckle or anything like that. As far as like arrows, I got some Victory arrows. I've got some Easton Axis, but I really like those Victory TKOs. They're pretty nice.
I shot those Axis for a few years. Those are some good arrows, some reliable arrows.
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm going to hunt with those, and I think these Victories I'm going to shoot 3D with. I just kind of started doing that 3D deal this year. I shot the R100 in Conway, Arkansas this year. It was pretty cool.
So you're shooting some competition? I mean, like 3D shoots?
It's you keep
more
your
for
own
fun
score with your buddies and turn it in for what it's worth. It's kind of not any kind of money shoots or anything. But I think it's pretty good practice though.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you think about in Arkansas, our deer season starts second or third week of September, runs through the end of February. So got a visitor walking in here.
That's a long season to be able to give yourself the odds and legs up. Trying to get it done.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I got my son that bow, and we've been going and shooting some of these little local 3D deals, and went to Conway and had a blast. We shot the safari range. It's got the big dinosaurs and the elephants and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool. Gear, I mean, broadheads. I do have some Muzzy 3-blade. Thinking about switching over to some of those B3s or some iron wheels this year.
It's hard to beat a Muzzy. I mean, Muzzy's just so reliable in my book. I mean, I shot them for 18 years before I decided to, try something different out, which just happened to work out in my advantage. I really liked what I switched to. I switched to the Bloodsport Nightfalls. It's a hybrid, expandable / fixed blade, and man, it leaves an absolute trail. I mean, a blind person can find a deer after shooting something with it. It's like a grenade went off in his chest, man. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'll have to check those out. The B3s, I don't know if you're familiar with those. It's got the three blade. I mean, I've looked at those, but I've shot like some Rage and some Chinese Rage and some Muzzies, and I've had a couple deer. I just kept going back to the fixed blade because, hadn't had many issues with them. And then, these big thick skinned hogs around here, if you don't hit them just right with that mechanical broadhead, the thing's sticking out of their shoulder and really didn't go anywhere. So.
Right. What about stands? What kind of stands are you rolling with? You doing like a fixed stand situation or climber, or what you got going?
Yeah, I've got climbers, climbing sticks, lock-ons. Actually, I was cleaning up deer stands this weekend, just trying to stay ahead of the game. Some tower stands, for the kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can actually shoot my bow out of these tower stands too. These big enough openings. So, Yeah, I mean, we're not saddle hunting or anything like that around here. I'm sure those public land guys got a use for that. But Summit lock on. You get your Summit climbing stands, or your Millennium uh, lock ons and climbing stands, just that type of stuff. So
Yeah. I'm gonna try the saddle thing this year. I've been playing around with one in the yard a little bit, testing the
yeah,
waters. Haven't got the climbing sticks out yet. I'm just kind of got it set right off off the ground, just getting
right.
used to it. But I'm just gonna gradually push myself each day, do different stuff, and then get higher, and then start shooting from up there. And I
There's a
want to
lot
be
to it.
mobile. Yeah, there is a lot. Two
I
people
mean,
don't realize there's a lot of shit that goes on with those things.
you get in there. I mean, I've watched some videos on them, and just trying to make your shots depending on where the deer is going to come from, the different things you've got to do, and be aware where your tether line's at, so you can turn this way or that way. I mean, there's a lot to it.
I will give it the benefit of the doubt. When I first had it in my mind, I'm thinking, man, when I get up there, I'm gonna almost have to be premeditated on where I set up in the tree so I can shoot certain directions.
Right.
Dude, I think you can shoot damn near every which direction from these things. It's wild. I mean, I could probably literally shoot straight behind me. Just make a
Yeah.
twist and lean a little bit. Easy, man. But I
Well,
see
the
what
one
you're
I've
saying.
seen where it's behind you is you take your tether and you turn around and face away from the tree and you pull your tether over. I think you put it under your arm or something. Anyway, I think you lean on the tether and you're kind of leaning away from the tree. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a pro. I've never even been in one, but I know there's a lot of thought that goes into it.
Definitely, but the thought of it being so mobile is, I think, going to be huge for me because most of the places I'm setting up, I have preset stands. We do a lot of filming, so we have two lock-ons already in the tree, and we're already using climbing sticks, a little bit of a different climbing stick compared to what I'm going to run on the saddle. But how many times have you been in a stand and you sat there maybe 4 days in a row or something, and you're like, man, I just keep seeing them run this one ridge down off this bottom here, blah blah blah. It's like, hey, let's move there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, a lot of people, I think, get in a habit of sitting in the same place all the time, and then obviously them deer are gonna figure you out where you're walking in, what trails you're using, and not just the wind factor too. Knowing where you're at. I mean, they're not stupid.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're fortunate. We got quite a few spots. You can play the wind, and I try to bow hunt about every day. If I can go before work and then or after work for 3 or 4 hours, especially if I got a big buck that or a buck that I'm after. It may not be big, but it's the one I kind of picked out. That's kind of about where I'm at in my life. Is you run all your trail cameras and you find that one, and then you hunt it, and just kind of make it personal, I guess.
I understand completely. But let's dive into that a little bit. How many trail cams you got, and what kind of trail cams are you using?
I probably got 8 or 10. Um, Running the Browning Strike Force, pretty good, reliable camera, compact. I think it takes 6 batteries. They'll last about all year long unless you got a bunch of hogs coming in there every night. But
Right.
those are pretty good. And then I picked up, I think 3 or 4 of these Bigfoot game cams. The guys, they're out of Colorado, I believe, and they're pretty good. They're pretty affordable to run. Cell service. They only had one plan at the time. I think it was like AT&T, but they worked for me. You don't need a lot of service to send a picture,
Right.
and the batteries are okay. They'll last maybe a couple weeks if you don't have a lot of coons and stuff coming there every night and setting it off. But, yeah, decent picture. I mean, you're not gonna frame it or anything, but it works.
Yeah, we got we kind of got a mixed bag. I run a lot of like wild game innovations, cheaper $50-$60
Yeah,
non-cell cam. Then I run a couple spy points. Now the neighbor, he's got the Tacticam reveals. I think he's got 2 or 3 of those, and you should see us go out in the. He'll laugh if he was here. I'd be making fun of him a little bit. He's just got like such a mixed bag of trail cameras, and he doesn't even remember where he put half of them. It's like we go to hunt a spot one day. Oh, I forgot to put a trail cam
I
out
was
here.
spraying. I was spraying a high line yesterday. What was yesterday? Monday? Yeah, I was spraying a high line yesterday. Going through, I look up and I got a trail cam hanging right there on the side of the tree. Totally forgot I had it And I had a trail cam I found earlier this year. It was one of my cell cams, and I knew I was missing one of them. And riding around one day, looked over, and there was a cell cam. It'd been like 2 years, hanging on the side of the tree. Totally forgot where it was at.
I need to get my cell cams out and ready, and up mine. I think the spy points, I have to update them pretty much once a year. I think with the software and malware and all that on those cameras.
Yeah.
But, so do you put together like a shooter list during the summer and early fall?
Usually it's in the early fall. Yeah, I'll have a couple spots, and I've got this one spot I started leasing last year. I mean, it had probably 4 or 5 good bucks. I mean, a lot more than I'm used to having at my other spots. And I picked one out, big 9-point. I think he was like 20 inches wide. He was coming in, that early season, kind of, you got feed out and everything, and I had a couple other bucks coming in. A lot of the acorns started dropping. It's about 33 acres of pin oaks next to a creek, and then there's pine plantations around it. So, I mean, they're coming in there every afternoon in the morning. And, yeah, I mean, I hunted that deer for, I think it was a month straight. Might have been 6 weeks straight. Like I said, if I could get away in the morning, in the afternoon, and I had him at 35 yards, and I've got a video. I think I posted it on my TikTok. You can check it out. Had him at 35 yards. It was a little later, and some of the leaves and everything had fallen. And I had more cover in the beginning of the year, but the wind was right and everything. And I was sitting in my stand, lock on, and I just moved my head about like that. And I think he seen the brim of my hat, and I heard him kind of stomp a little bit. He didn't spook. He just kind of went broadside. I had him at 35 yards, and I was hunting with my old Bowtech then. That was before I got my Matthews. And I said, yeah, he's going to circle around to this corn I got over there at 25 yards, broadside. He starts circling around, gets right. I could feel the wind hit the back of my neck just a little bit. And he's quartering. I'm almost standing straight, towards me. And he looks up, and then he just kind of turned real quick to the right and walked off. He didn't spook or anything, but
he didn't
probably
like the
should have shot him
situation.
at 35, but I didn't. And anyway, the guy next door, an older gentleman, I think the second day of opener gun season, he was like the 6th legal buck he seen. Way back there, he shot him and killed him. So, but yeah, I hunted that thing for, it was 5-6 weeks,
So is there when you're making these lists and stuff, are you going off of certain deer? Are you just trying to shoot mature deer, or just like whatever gives you the best opportunity on something you want to take?
Well, I mean, mature deer we're trying to go after. I mean, in Arkansas, 120-inch deer, that's 3.5, 4 years old. That's a pretty good buck, But, I don't know what that would have scored. He was older. I think they aged him. He was over 6 years old.
Wow.
And, but yeah, I kind of, a bigger buck if I can, and then I think that was my number one. My number two, my 13-year-old shot it during youth season, about 40 yards away. Hit him good, ran, had blood. I don't know what happened. He might have been quartering a little towards us. We never found that deer. I don't know where that deer went. And then I had another buddy of mine come down, hog hunting, or deer hunting. And then I told him, where some hogs were at. And I had another 8-point over there. And hogs didn't show up. 8-point showed up, so he shot him. So, my top 3 ended up all getting shot. So, but there'll be 3 more this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the funny thing about it. You have years like that. I can remember a couple years ago, 2 of my 3 bucks on my hit list got killed in the same day, which was a heartbreaker. And then last year, none of them. Nope, nobody on any of the properties that bordered me or anything. Nobody shot any of the deer that I was after. You know what I mean? So all those deer that I was after, there's for the most part, unless they got hit by a car or something, or EHD or something, or coyotes or whatever. But most of them should be back. And there's a big 8-pointer on the main farm that I'm hunting. If he's back, I'm gonna lose a lot of sleep this fall. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean about losing sleep. I mean, it's especially cell cams now.
Yeah.
You can see. This deer showed up for 2 years. It was behind my house. I got an oak tree back here. I was feeding deer, and when it was shot, it was between 160 and 170 inch deer in South Arkansas. I mean, this thing had like 13 points on it the first, and it just showed up. I mean, a 13 pointer just shows up, you know. And they aged him, and it was really old. But then he was like a 14 or 15 point the next year. But I put that cell camera out, and I lost a lot of sleep. I mean, I had to think 60 yards off my back porch. Everybody I talked to said I was an idiot if I didn't shoot it at night. I never shot it at night. I actually had the ATN 4K Pro, you know, I videoed
Right.
him off my back porch. Like, man, you should have shot me. I'm not going to do that.
No.
And so he made it the first year, come back, and he was smart. I only seen him one time in the daylight. He had 4 does. I got 20 acres pasture behind my house, and 4 does come out, and I knew they were looking kind of skittish, and had my 300 Win Mag sitting back there at the back door, and kind of working during the day because I work at home a lot, and looked down at the creek, and he stuck his head up out of the creek. And I said, all right, here it goes. He's going to come out here after these does. And I kind of got on him. And then I think a log truck come down the road or something, making a bunch of noise. And I don't know if the does spooked because of that, or, you know, the does ended up, you know, trying to run away from him. But they ran off back to the east, and he never come out of that creek. He just went straight back to where he come from. He never come out in the field and chased him. And then he got killed. I think it was that same year, about a mile down the High Line over here. Some guy shot him chasing a doe. Guy was from Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he'd been hunting down here for like 20 years. He was in a camp, so it was cool. I'm happy for the guy.
Yeah,
I'm a 170-inch deer in South Arkansas.
Yeah, that's a
Our
monster.
county record's like 174 or 5 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the county record for where I'm sitting right now as we speak was killed by a guy named Randy Spence, and I want to say it scored 210.
God,
and that's a typical 210.
210.
I mean, they're killing absolute giants in Indiana right now. Indiana gets so overlooked. I mean, the number 2 deer of all time was killed in Indiana 30 minutes south of my house this past year.
Gee, we need to swap out some pig hunting or something.
Hey, hey, it's worked out. I would be more than happy to swap out some hunts. I just swapped a hunt with Mid-State Outdoors. I went up there in Michigan, killed my biggest turkey I've ever killed. That video will be on YouTube here soon. But I'm gonna have Zach Sloan up from Michigan, coming down to Indiana, but he's going to get on some of these big Indiana deer. So I'm open for swapping hunts any day of the week. Buddy.
I think I sent you a couple pictures of those pigs we've got.
Those are big pigs.
Get you down here. I got a good buddy of mine, and my father-in-law, and another buddy down. I mean, dogs. Bay dogs, bulldogs, catch dogs. Come down here and stab one with a knife, whatever you want to do.
I just want to shoot one with my bow.
Bow hunt them. Yeah, I'll bait up. Got a couple spots. Get them baited up, but.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I just bought. My buddy was trying to get me to go to Iowa in a few years. It's like, hey man, you get on here and you buy these preference points.
Yes, sir. I just bought mine for the first time.
I bought mine today.
Oh yes. Is there a certain zone you're looking at, or?
I have no idea.
Because the guy that I kind of planned this with is from Wisconsin. He wants to go, and he's already contacted people to do this. The first year that me and you, because you just bought yours. The first year that we're going to be able to draw for Iowa is 2028. That's our first try. That'll be the first year we'll be able to hunt it.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a long time off. So you have a long time to kind of throw it together, but I'd be down to chase some whitetails with you in Iowa, man. I'm game for sure.
Yeah, we've got an old Army buddy of mine. He said, yeah, just get on here and buy these points. They're like $60 or something like that. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I'm on there. I'm buying something. I'm not even getting anything. I've got this thing that says I don't even know what it is.
It's a preference
I haven't
point.
even researched it. I did see the little grid that said, based off 1 through 7 preference points, this was the quota. This is what was drawn, and this is how many folks got it.
It's taken about 5 years right now to do it, and so when on your 5th year you'll have enough points to draw, and you basically have to buy your tag. Like in the summer, like we did our points before June 1st or whatever. And there's still a chance
June
that
1st, right?
Yeah, June 1st is the cutoff date.
So, because today's May 31st.
Right.
I had it in my head. I was like, I got to buy them. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. That's perfect. I've been looking for people to do this with. You're talking about bow hunting in Iowa. That's the big leagues in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I got a buddy of mine that comes down here. The older guy, he's like in his 70s. He hog hunts and stuff, and he lives in Iowa, and they've got some land up there. But I think in Iowa, you got one deer tag per landowner or something like that.
I
That's
have
it.
no idea on the resident anywhere.
It's not. You don't. I don't think. I mean, Arkansas, you can kill. I don't know, 4 or 5 deer or something like that. But up there, I think it may be one.
Dang.
You know.
I want to hear the story about this big deer, the one you shot, and it's got the picture of you at the Arkansas Deer Expo or whatever that is. I want to hear the story on this big boy.
I mean, it's kind of lucky, I guess. I mean, if you call sitting in the woods all the time lucky, but I was at my grandparents', kind of where I started, hunting, and went down to the barn. I can remember it was a harvest moon, big full moon coming up, and I was sitting down there in the pasture and wasn't seeing anything. I think it was about 9:30 or so. I said, you know what? I'm going to get out of the barn, and they've got a big ridge that goes all the way around their house, big for Arkansas anyway. So I get out of the barn, slip up, had a 223 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and slipped up the ridge, kind of went around it. My grandpa's deer stand was sitting over there. This death trap of a deer stand he's got over there. And got up there, sat down. I mean, not a whole lot of story to it. Watching a couple squirrels run around a pine tree, and look up, and there's this mainframe 10. It was a 12-point, looking right at me. And so he kind of turned broadside, and I shot him. And he ran literally from where he was standing to like 40 yards from my grandparents' house, like almost like laid down in their yard. And so
awesome.
I just had got a cell phone. I mean, this is how long ago that was. I called my wife. She was in there. I said, hey, help me come out here and drag this doe out, of the woods. And she's like, where are you at? I said, just come outside. And she walks out the door. I'm like, hey, over here, And she comes over there, and she couldn't believe it. And anyway, it ended up scoring, I think it grossed, in the 150s, 156 or something, and netted like 146. But he has a mainframe 10, ended up being like a 12-point, and
it's a nice
wasn't
deer.
real wide, 22-inch main beam. Good for Arkansas. I mean,
Yeah.
But, that's the biggest deer I ever killed. And but that was really it. I mean, it happened. A lot of these hunts, I've got some deer behind me and everything, and I go back and you kind of remember where you killed every one of them. And a lot of them I didn't wait that long. A lot of them you just happened to be there, and it happened so quick. There's a couple of them I sat there for 4 or 5 hours a day, whatever it was. But a lot of them just happened, early in the morning, or just happened pretty quick.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Have you ever thought about journaling your hunts? Kind of putting everything.
I journal all my squirrel hunts because my dog and that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I've got one of those leather bound journals. You open it up, it's got.
I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I've killed on the same day, 2 years in a row, same day. And it's just the stuff you write down, and you can go back and say, say today was October 15th. So I scroll back to previous years, October 15th, what I saw, the weather, everything. It's like, well, I saw deer in the back pasture this evening. It's like, hell, I'm going to go hunt the back pasture tonight. Just stuff like that. I think it's cool to go back and look at and see where you've had success, where you could see, the pre-rut really kick in, and then actual rut with the lockdown and all that kind of stuff. And you can just kind of see how it plays out year by year by what you write down.
Well, all you got to do is go to Facebook and go to memories. I'm sure it'll be on there.
Well, I'm not a Facebook guy, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, you get on there and you can kind of see when you've killed some deer. But no, that guy I was telling you, the older gentleman that killed the 9-point this year, he's like 19, 20 inches wide, that one I was chasing for that month. He was telling me, like, this day in December or January was the day. A couple other guys, this is the day, and
yeah.
I don't know if it's moon phase, weather, just luck that it happened twice.
I know.
But there are quite a few people that definitely go by that method of hunt.
Oh, definitely. And I watched a lot of a lot of hunting on YouTube and stuff, and you see those guys from Team 200, and they play that blood moon, or I think that's what it's called, red moon, blood moon, whatever. But they believe by some of those moon phases and stuff, which I believe some of it
Is that
probably
the
takes
one
a
that you
part.
got the little
It's
disc
a
or
disc,
whatever?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
my neighbor was telling me about that thing. I said, man, I don't know. That looks like one of those little deals you when you was a kid. You know, you could hold it up and change the picture.
yeah, they got it down to like an exact time. Like, hey, 10:35, December 21st. You better be in the stand. Big bucks running. Which, hell, it might work out for some. I mean, obviously it does. They kill giant deer. Something's going right for them, but it's not
But
something
down
I
here in
really do.
Arkansas, we just the weather, the heat, and you know, I can tell you this year, those guys that come out of Jonesboro to camp, the camp next to us, every time they came down, it was hot. And I mean, you're talking about mid 80s, hot.
Woo,
And
woo.
I'm like, I would text them, try to let them know, kind of what was going on. Because I mean, I live 5 miles from this place we hunt at, and everything would be good. But it was crazy. They would come down on a Friday night. It'd get hot Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it would rain. They would leave, and then it would be cool from Wednesday through,
Friday.
like Thursday or Friday. Every time they left, it got home.
That's awesome.
Man, I don't know what to tell you. They come down for 2 weeks one time and it stayed hot. I said, y'all just go back up there. I need some cooler weather.
Right. I mean, that's probably a big adjustment for somebody like myself that would come down to Arkansas. Would be that I've never really had to hunt in heat. This year is probably going to be my first go at it. I'm going with some guys to Kentucky velvet hunting for whitetails, and they say, I mean, you could, most of them, I mean, literally get up to the stand and have like some kind of like basketball short things. They like pull their camos into shorts, and they're hunting in Crocs and everything else.
I've got Crocs on now, which I wear them all the time. But I've got a deer behind me over here. I was in a pair of basketball shorts. I think I was in the stand and had taken my shirt off, or in the deer blind, took my shirt off. I probably had Crocs on, and I mean, early season bow hunting. But these guys were coming down during rifle season. We're talking about like November.
Wow.
And we were getting these heat waves. But yeah, you better have your basketball shorts, Crocs, tank top, thermocell, maybe a fan or something. I don't know. It gets pretty warm down here.
I bet. Well, let's dive into. I want to go through some scenarios with you. Early season. What exactly are you doing in the early season to get on some of these deer?
I'm running my game cameras, different places, looking for acorns. Next to some hardwoods. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's if you can find. I mean, and they're patterning pretty well too, right? I mean, they're showing up when there's within 30 minutes every day of when they are, showed up the day before. Just acorns. I mean, around here, we got a lot of pine trees. We've got some fields. You can hunt the edges of fields, but basically the food source, and I get, fattening up for the rut. And, you may have a spot like that little 33 acres I started leasing last year. There might have been 4 or 5 nice bucks in there, a couple does. As soon as those acorns are gone and the rut hits, they're nowhere to be found. I mean, I hunted it after that. Might as well not even have went out there.
Right. When does that early season creep into the rut? When does your full swing rut hit?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a professional at any of it. I don't journal my hunts. I probably should. And I don't know. We've got October, about whenever youth season hits, which is usually, I think we've got either muzzleloader youth season, then gun season, or we've got youth season muzzleloader, then gun season. I don't know. Probably first week of November to second week of November. I think our gun season opens up middle of November, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's how ours is too.
Yeah, and then it's totally different. Then well, we can get into that too. But yeah, it's totally different hunting,
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. What exactly are you doing during the rut? You trying to get in between, foods and beds or transition areas? What are you doing?
I mean, mobile ground blind. My truck, I guess. I mean, with all these clear cuts around here, just being in you got to be pretty lucky. I mean, you got to be lucky, and you got to sit there a long time. It's not like hunting that corn feeder or the acorns, a couple white oak trees out there. I mean, you just got to be there at the right time. hunting in the rain. I know some people don't like doing it, but hunting in the rain.
I like hunting right after the rain. Like
Right
sit
after
in the truck until it stops and then hurry up and run in there real quick.
Yep. I killed a 9-point this year. It's the only buck I killed. I killed him right after the rain in the morning. But being in the right place at the right time there, and they're not showing up to the feeders, into the cameras at a who knows where they go.
Yeah, running around like crazy, like
they're running around
17-year-old boys.
trying to run out in front of a car.
Yeah, that does happen a lot around here. There for a few years, it really affected our season. Like the insurance companies getting involved with wanting to basically give everybody and anybody tags with, basically shoot as many deer as you want, which I think with them doing that, it actually affected our deer population. Like it's not as high as it once was. We still have a pretty healthy herd, but there for a few years, man, we could kill. If you went, because in Indiana, it's all county quotas on what you can legally take on does, and if you went to all the different counties, you could shoot like 196 deer or something.
Oh man!
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody was hungry enough,
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever wants to skin that many deer.
Right. So late season, post rut, you just getting back on those feeders.
Yeah, you get back on the feeders. I do a lot, but like I said, we do a lot of hog hunting, squirrel hunting then too. But I've still do some deer hunting. Yeah, get back on the feeders. I mean, they outlawed or stopped Arkansas from feeding 1 year. I think it was starting. It was either February 1st or January 1st. I don't know. It was either a month or two at the end of the season, and I don't know what they were trying to do or whatever. But I mean, you can turn a feeder on, and they'll come to those feeders, but after they've been shot at all year, a lot of those deer are coming in at night. So,
oh yeah, but
we still, I bow hunted quite a bit, but on the weekends we'd go hog hunting, squirrel hunting, coon hunting at night. Sometimes I'd deer hunt during the day, in the morning, hog hunt in the afternoon, coon hunt at night. My wife, she'd get pretty mad at me. I'd be gone like all day for maybe 2 days.
That's how my wife is too. She's almost accepted the fact that, our deer season here in Indiana comes in October 1st. She knows October 1st I disappear until December. Like it's like, hey, you all want to go out to lunch on Saturday with us? She's like, nah, Brett's gonna be deer hunting, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go with you.
Yeah, I've been married 22 years. It took my wife a while. We had kind of the same thing. She wanted to take family pictures. Oh, yeah. She goes, hey, this lady stays booked up months out ahead. For some reason, she's got a Sunday open. And I said, well, what day is that? And she said the day, it's like second week in November or something like that. The first Sunday of that second week. I don't know. It was opening weekend deer season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the opening weekend of deer season. And I'm like, well, why no one's going to get their picture taken today? Huh? I said, yeah, it's opening weekend of deer season. And we're out there at noon, 2 o'clock. I killed a deer that day, though.
That's awesome.
We come back. I shot it out of my pasture. We got back. There was still 30 minutes of legal shooting light. It was an 8-point I'd been hunting. And got back here. He showed up, walked right across the pasture. I was hunting him in the backyard, but I ended up killing an 8-point right after those family pictures. So I guess I can't complain too much.
Well, you got to pick your battles too. Like I know that there was a couple times last year. I think it was mid-October. It wasn't really late October yet. Maybe like the 18th or the 19th or something like that, but her friend had this big birthday party, Top Golf, everybody going to have drinks at the party bus and stuff, and I thought, I still got a lot of hunting left. I'll go with her, make her happy for now. We'll see how this turns out. Gotta make the wife happy. And my buddy's texting me the whole time. I got this giant. He's at 50 yards on his way in, and I'm supposed to be there filming him. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I wasted this one day to go out and have a little bit of fun when I could be sitting there watching this giant come in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I get to hunt during the week quite a bit, and but yeah, there's times you're sitting there, you come home, and you're like, man, she's got to be getting tired of this. She's got to. She'll let me know about it every now and then, but she's pretty good though. We do a lot of running and gunning during baseball season. We spend a lot of time together, but that October, November, Yeah, out in the woods most of the time.
Oh,
And then January,
absolutely.
February, we're hog hunting with her dad, running dogs, and we get to spend a lot of time together then, with the boys and friends and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I've been asking everybody that I've had on this question, to just see how it is across the country, but I want to hear like some Arkansas traditions when it comes to deer hunting. Like you go to this diner for breakfast on opening morning or something like that. Do you and your family have any kind of traditions when it comes to deer season?
We got a buddy of mine. He's got a kind of a man cave shop like this. We have a big blowout that Friday night. Everybody gets up and goes hunting the next morning. I mean, I know that there's a lot of traditions all over. I mean, we get together and do just about like everybody else, get
Yeah.
together and eat. Uh, not we don't really have any. I know there's big camps that big cookouts have a big hog roast or whatever, but yeah, nothing crazy.
Yeah. We always had like a tradition. We went to a truck stop diner opening day shotgun. We would all go have breakfast. That was always our opening weekend thing, and it always fell somewhere in like the towards the end of like college football season. So we would go hunting, until about noon or so. Come home, watch some college football for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Take a quick snooze, and then hit back in the woods before it gives several hours in the afternoon.
that's my. I'm telling you, everybody's like, "What's your favorite time of year?" I wouldn't say the beginning of bow season. It's that first couple cool snaps.
Yeah.
College football, and we do a pick 'em every week. My brother and my dad and a bunch of his things grown so big now, but you pick 10 games for the week. You're out there hunting. It's in the evening. It's kind of cool. Mosquitoes aren't out. Watching all the games on your phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do a couple of spots I hunt. Getting service. So if there's a good game on, may depend on where I go hunting. Where I go hunting at,
Right. It's
but
always
that's my
like
favorite time of year.
that's my favorite time of the year too. Watching a Big Ten football game on Saturday at 1 o'clock or something or noon ish,
Who's
and
the Big Ten now?
Big Ten, IU, Purdue.
I'm kidding. I'm SEC. I'm just joking.
I thought you messing with me. But hanging out on the couch or usually in the garage. I got a little man cave set up in the garage,
Yeah.
watch football, but opening that window in the living room, letting that air blow through there, and you've been up since 4 o'clock, and you're just like,
Oh, yeah.
boom, that's the best nap there is right there.
Right. Right.
I want to hear some more about these pigs, though. I'm interested now that you saying you want to swap a hunt. Let's hear about how you guys are chasing these pigs
I
down there.
swapped a hunt with a guy I met in Pine Bluff the other day. We're shooting a little local bow, the Pine Bluff Archery Bow Club over there, and we were going through, looking at phones and everything and pigs, and he wanted to kill a pig. I said, "All right, come on, you can come down here." And I just bought this 40 acres the other day. It's got some pretty big pigs on it. Same place I shot that one with my bow got kicked off of TikTok the other day, or at least that post got kicked off. He's like, "All right, well, you can come up here. We've got some decent deer. It's not anything like, Boone and Crockett, but, 120, 130-inch deer, whatever." And I said, "All right, well, we'll swap one out." No, I mean, you kill them during deer season. My favorite thing to do, they're kind of a nuisance down here. I mean, they really are. I mean, there's a couple years ago, I realized there's not enough people in the woods throughout the year to ever take the population down. I mean, these things are hitting the ground, little vacuum cleaners. I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You know, they're bred and having more, and there's 10 or 20 a litter.
Wow.
But well, my favorite thing to do is go with my father-in-law. We got dogs. You've got bay dogs. They put tracking collars on them. And you ride around, you'll have one cur dog, like him or cur, that'll win, and you'll throw some dogs out. They'll bay it, run it, and then you go in there with the pit bull. You can throw the pit bull on it. Some people shoot them. A lot of people got rid of their pit bulls in Arkansas a few years ago whenever the Game and Fish made it illegal to transport hogs. You can't carry, you can't catch a live hog and take it somewhere else. I mean, if it's in your possession, you got to kill it. I mean, they've got it where you can kill them, leave them there. They almost have it to where if you don't kill one, you're going to give you a ticket, but
Oh,
they're pretty
shit.
bad. But no, I mean, I'll sit at the house a lot of times, and the land that I hunt's just literally 5 minutes down the road. And I'll have the cell phone camera out, 50 pounds of corn out. I'm 300 blackout with my suppressor on it, and pigs show up. If it's the boar I've been watching, or a big female sow, it's got a bunch of piglets. I'll sit here in the man cave. Phone goes off. I'll give them about 10 minutes, whatever. Let them get good and settled in. Slip up, the wind's right. Slip up and shoot one at night. That's pretty fun too.
That is, I bet that is pretty fun
Yeah.
because, like what you're talking about with the infrared and all that stuff, a lot of people get into that around here with the coyotes. So I'm kind of familiar with the
Yeah.
the night stuff, but I've never really been much into predator hunting, and I've never got to go hog hunting. So it would definitely be something that I'd be all in. Let's shoot one during the day and the night. Let's go.
Oh yeah. I mean, you definitely.
So we covered the pigs. Is there anything else you're chasing out there? You got them turkeys down there too.
Yeah, I've got a one-winged turkey running around. I'm not a professional turkey hunter. I got a buddy that's got every call in the world, and my other neighbor over here can call, in the turkey calling competition. Turkeys in South Arkansas are, I'm not saying they're rare, but I mean you got to put your time in. You got to be pretty good. You got to have birds to kill birds, so you got to have the
Right.
land. And I haven't killed a lot of turkeys. I said I was going to try to go bow only this year, so my buddies were looking at me like, "Man, you're crazy. You bow after turkey hunt." And I said, "Well, I'm going to give it a shot." And I'll tell you about the turkey, that I got on this year. Found this turkey. There was two of them. Been in the area for a couple weeks. As a matter of fact, I was sitting in the rain one day in my truck, and one of them just walked. Right behind the back of my truck, about 15 yards. I just videoed him out the window, and said, it was like the day, that day I videoed him was like the day before season even opened,
Dang.
But anyway, I get set up. I'm in this little thicket. There's this little grass area out there, and I get my decoy set up. I've got my decoy facing towards me. I've never turkey hunted, with a bow, and reading all this stuff online. YouTube's like, all right, set your decoy facing towards you. That way, when he goes and blows up into full strut, his fan will be between you and his head. Did that. I don't know, about 15 minutes after daylight, I hear him gobble one time. I just yelped a little bit. And then probably 15 minutes later, 50 yards away, he hammers. Like, all right, he's got to see my decoy out in this lane. I seen his white head coming through. Brett, just like he was supposed to. He comes
Right in there.
I'm 18 and a half yards. I'm set up. He comes in, sniffs around on my decoy. He's spitting, drumming, doing his thing, whatever turkeys do, and walks around the decoy, bows up, tail, goes up. I draw my bow back. I was going to shoot him right through the ass, just like, you're supposed to shoot him right through the ass, break their spine, go through all the vitals, right? Draw back. He goes down, walks around. Then he's broadside right there. I'm looking at his right side, looking right at the decoy. And I shoot, and I guess I shot, there's that crease between, right above the wing.
Right.
You shoot him there in the front, below the wattle and above the beard. I had a side shot there. And I shot, and this turkey just cartwheeled. I'm like, man, I'm thinking I've got this turkey killed. He did everything he was supposed to do. I shoot, cartwheel this thing, and it looked like a dinosaur just waddling off away from me into the woods. I said, you've got to be kidding me. So I wait. My buddies are like, man, wait like an hour and a half, just like you're going to blood trail a deer. I'm like, all right, I'll wait. I'm not a professional turkey hunter. I'll wait. Well, I knew there were some feathers over by my decoy. So I wait about an hour and a half, and I get up and I go over there, and like half the wing, 3/4 of the wing is laying right next to my decoy.
That's crazy.
So I go and I look for this turkey. Nothing. I come back, and that was it. I'm sure the coyotes got him. I don't know, but I think what happened was I shot just a little low. I come back and I was shooting my broadheads. We're shooting just a little bit low, but that kill zone on that turkey's not very big. And I think what happened is I hit it with that Chinese rage. So we're switching broadheads. I don't switch all the time, but we're switching this year. So it hit that wing bone. It just centered that wing bone. And when he somersaulted away from me, I think that arrow went through his breast. If he would have,
Right.
I think it just deflected the arrow down. If it would have went the other way, I probably would have got him. But
It's
you know,
it's bow hunting turkeys is tough. I did it last year in Missouri. It's tough, man, just to get them into that range, and a lot of people that aren't used to that. If you're not shooting, out of your blind, and practicing that sort of setup, they could almost shoot over top of it every time, just because they're not used to something so close to them. You know what I mean? Like if you'd have shot that bird when he was strutting right in front of you, it'd be hard telling where you'd have hit it just because he was so close.
I wasn't even in a blind. I was just
Oh, you're just
there.
on the ground? That's all. That's even better.
In the ground, kind of tucked away. But I said, if I do this, he's going to have to be in full strut looking away from me. There's no other way to get drawn back. And I'm telling you, it just like it was supposed to happen. And I was so disappointed. I mean, to kill a turkey with a bow and all I got was a wing. I flared the wing out, pinned it up. I got it dried. I'm going to put it on a board, and I'm going to take that piece of shit broadhead, hot glue it right there on that board. And a
little daily reminder.
That'll be my trophy.
That's awesome. Well, you told me, and you touched on it there a little bit ago, about something that you were trying to do. You're trying to put the gun down and strictly bow hunt. How's this going to pan out for you, and how are you going to get it done?
Well, I mean, I think for one, you got to love to be in the woods. I think all these different stages of hunting where you get the beginner and you're learning, and then the next thing you do is you want to go out and kill everything, and next thing you know, you're trophy hunting, and then kind of where I'm at now, you're picking one out, making it personal. And I think when you get between there and just wanting to be in the woods, it's been said a lot of different ways, but the man that loves the pursuit is more rewarded than the person that hunts the trophy. So I mean, I think if you like to be in the woods, whether you see something, that morning or you don't, obviously the opportunities, you're out there longer for that opportunity. And that's kind of where I'm at. If I go to the woods and I don't see anything, it's great. I just like being out there, working all day, just clearing your mind. So I did that this year. I really enjoyed it. If I didn't see a deer, it wasn't any big deal. Kind of therapy, whatever you want to call it, just kind of decompressing out in the woods. So I enjoyed it so much. I said, I've killed quite a few deer with a gun. I want to try to go bow only this year. I bought a new Matthews. I've always had a bow, but bought that new Matthews V3, shoot it every day. So we'll see, Is
it more like a more rewarding thing to shoot something with your bow, or is it just purely a passion thing? Both?
No, I mean, I ended up shooting 3 deer with that bow after I got it. I shot 3 does with it. I don't know, just being out there. I mean, there's a lot of deer in South Arkansas. So if you want to go shoot a deer with a gun, it may not be the one you want to shoot. There's a lot of deer. I don't know, just enjoying the time out there. If I sit out there with a gun, deer comes out and I shoot it, it's over with,
Right.
But that's what I'm going to try to do this year is when I turkey hunt with my bow, I'll probably still take the gun, at night, obviously, with the infrared and all that for pigs. But,
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Good luck to you for sure. But I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. And it's kind of cool how we met. I've been meeting a lot of people on the TikTok. I kind of put a little post on there. Hey, if you're interested in, doing a show, kind of hit me up or whatever. And that's kind of how we threw this whole thing together. And it's just fun to talk to people from all over the country on how they do things. And like you said, traditions that people are doing, they're pretty similar, really, when I talk to everybody. Some people that are deer hunting in Michigan may have a pretty similar tradition to somebody hunting in South Arkansas. Like, it's just cool to talk to people. And
we got plenty of truck stops, so I'm sure we can come up with a tradition around here for that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Tell everybody where they can find you at on the old social media.
Yeah, so, TikTok, I just made it. I've only been on there a couple months, really. It's Josh. I think it's josh.klober on TikTok, and then josh.klober on Instagram. And then I've got my Facebook kind of set up private, but same thing.
That's cool.
I'm not really pushing anything. I just, country boy from Arkansas, like you said, we was on TikTok looking around, and you threw it out there. I said, well, heck, never done a podcast. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like having the regular blue collar worker just like me
That's
on
it.
here chasing whitetails. That's what
Yeah,
everybody loves to do.
rednecks with an internet connection. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I appreciate everybody that's listening on the audio side, and if you're watching on the YouTube, I appreciate your support. But you can check out Blue River Bow Hunting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go Wild. You can find me on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me on there. But everybody have a good evening, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, Brett. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.